Being 4:30, we'll open up the May 21st Sewer Commissioners meeting. Elaine, aye.
Bill Watson, aye.
Brian, are you able to connect? Okay, well,
He's there.
he is there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Brian, can you hear us?
Might take him a minute. If he's anything like me on that Zoom thing, it's trying to figure out your computer's microphone and speaker. There we go.
Hi, Brian.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Hey.
yes, we're good.
Okay.
So Brian's on remotely just for the meeting minutes. Okay, so let's start with meeting minutes. 1/2, 1/23, 2/6, 2/20.
I'm okay with him.
Okay, Brian, did you
I
guys?
read them. I think they're fine. Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Elaine, aye.
Bill Watson, aye.
Aye.
Okay. A commitment for $191 for a real estate transaction 24-48. This needs to be approved.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
And I'll second that too.
All in favor? Elaine, aye.
Bill, aye.
Brian, aye.
Good. Why don't we do leaching fields first, Brian, since you have a time?
Yeah. So you saw the emails back and forth recently with a complaint.
Yes,
And I when Gene sent it to me, called me up, I immediately said this is beyond our immediate response. So the right answer has been done. CDM's involved, and we'll take care of it. We'll find out about it probably tomorrow. My question was, from what Gene could find out, that the person who called had not been apparently I would say that had not been given a letter from the contractor. So I'm wondering who they are, because they had done a pretty good job of finding abutters. So that's the question.
being familiar with the property, I believe at least a few years ago, that was a rental property. That the individual who reached out today is the property owner, but doesn't live in the house. So that may be where some of the
Exactly.
lack of communication has occurred.
Okay, that explains it. That's perfect. That answers that question. I'm assuming, but it's they didn't get the letter. It was the renter.
Yeah.
Okay, and related, I had Gene passed on to me two names of who apparently a realtor and a prospective buyer of a property, and I called both of them. I emailed one, copied one of them, called one of them. I got a call back from Jean. Her name was Karen. I think she's a realtor, and the question there was kind of I felt like I was in a court. When did you know this? How long did you know this was going on? About the clearing of the trees. And I said, well, the project's been under design for 20 years conceptually. It moved ahead about several years ago. There were public hearings on the environmental impact. We made adjustments. The commission made adjustments. I said before I was on the commission again, to accommodate everybody and let them know what's going on. And we sent notices out to the abutters, around middle of April. And she goes, good. That's thank you. I said, if you have any more questions, the commission's assigned me to be the point person. And then she opened up that it's basically someone who was going to buy it was not informed that they were cutting the trees down and doing all that. And now I think they're looking for a way out. But it's not to us. It's to some disagreement. But I did tell her it's going to be a very nice field, flowers, and maintained as an open space. And you'll probably love it once you get used to it, because it's not going to look like a dump.
Right. There's gonna be birdhouses there.
Revert houses, it'll be a really unmistakably
That's the
nice
biggest
place.
house that's gonna be there, is birdhouse.
And to follow up on that, the property owner who's selling the house called me today. And just asked for some information like the conceptual design that shows it being a green field and a copy of the conservation restriction that was recorded, just so they can help assist with any concerns that anybody may have with what could happen to that property.
Yeah, and somebody, I think, Gina gave me another name, but for some reason, I forget what, the phone number wasn't working or something. Anyways, I had told this woman, the realtor, the same thing, just so we're all on the same page. I know we are. That anything you want to see, we'll be happy to talk to you. And
Yeah.
so I think that's pretty much under control as far as we can. And the only other thing on the leaching fields is I haven't heard back from CDM on a cost estimate that we had asked for on the alternative to the excavation in the street versus the original existing design.
Yeah,
So I'm going to reach out if we don't hear anything by Friday, just to CDM and ask them if they've had anything from the contractor. But other than that, I think I have not been up to this week because I've been so busy here. But I know they're working, and maybe Dave probably hasn't been up there somewhere.
I was up towards the end of last week, but I wasn't up there yet as of yesterday or today.
Oh, I know the Saturday they said they were going to work. I went right up to after town meeting, and they didn't work that day. So they actually got a lot more done. I think the Thursday before that, I mean Friday before, because I went up at noon and it was all locked up and no sign of anybody. So uh, that's good.
yeah, that is good. So it sounds like everything's moving along from that
Yeah.
perspective.
The only last thing I had on my look at my notes here is Gina and I talked a little bit. I have trying to put our sewer commission project on like when you first go on the webpage so that it comes up as
Okay,
one of those bullet items. And I have a little sketch of basically the Kingston sewer project, leaching field progress, and then have three bullets. One will be accomplished this week of X whatever 5, 17, 24. And plan next 2 weeks, which will be what the contractor CDM tells us, so people know here's what they're gonna do the next 2 weeks. And then like the photo of the week, something that one of us takes just to put it up, if that's helpful.
yeah, I think that's a good idea.
And then it'll keep going. So maybe we'll have on the front page will be 3 or 5 or 6, 7 weeks of current, and then the things that drop off that have been done and it's been up on the screen for enough days that will maybe revert to a lower importance. I don't know how we would do that, but just so everybody knows they can, and once they get used to it, because the real excavation's just starting. They just
Yeah.
that's what's going on. But otherwise, it's I couldn't be more pleased with
It-
the progress.
I'm surprised I mean, you've done a great job, Brian, and thank you. You did you won with a overwhelming vote on Saturday. You were one of the top voters.
I had several people tell me that I had the third highest of any. Of any
Yeah.
they go, well, what did I do right? Tell me, how did you do? Bud Loring saw my wife at church and said, "Hey, he beat me by 35 votes, and I've been here forever." It's pretty funny. I'm happy it didn't cost a nickel. So
Yeah, that's good. It's always good when you're unopposed.
yeah,
Okay.
it was sad to see the 2 openings in there, 2 write-ins. That disturbed me a little bit. Okay, I think that's for my stuff.
Dave?
Yeah, just a update on the last couple of weeks since we met last. I've been waiting on a magnesium oxide bid that went out of this co-op that we got involved with. And it looks like we're gonna save about $9,000 a year, which is pretty,
Oh, wow.
yeah, that's equal to about 2 deliveries, so about 2 months
That's
free
great.
that way. So
That's excellent.
pretty significant. Although now with the third tank, we're using more chemicals, but at least it'll bring us back closer to what we were spending. So that's a good savings. The paperwork hasn't been processed through yet. That's the next step I'm just waiting on. So this month I placed my order for what we need, but probably by the next time I place an order, we'll see a significant savings. So that's good.
Good job.
Tanks are behaving well. We switched out from tank 1, 2, and 3 to 2, 3, and 4. We have one valve that the guys are working on today to try and get it to shut right. So it's been a bit of a challenge, but I think they got it. Our biofilters have been replaced in the last couple of weeks, so those are all set, up and running. Recently driving around town, I don't know if you guys ran into the sinkhole around Landing Road on Main Street as you're coming down the hill.
Yeah.
So you're familiar with that, Brian?
I've been watching that for like a month, get bigger and bigger. Did it finally collapse?
So it didn't collapse, but just as an update, we had Mass Highway out last Friday, and Paul Basil's been after them to look at it. And finally, this past Monday, yesterday, we went out there with our camera and pushed it down the sewer line, and it's not our sewer line that's causing the problem, but it's right under, so it's right in that space. So the cause of it's not determined, but we know it's not our
Well,
sewer
that's-
line. And it was getting pretty bad. So last Friday, we worked on getting, which we've been kind of wanting to do this anyway. We got some emergency bypass pumps, well, a pump, and enough bypass hose to bypass at least a section of sewer line. So if anything breaks in town, now we can handle it without waiting for someone to come in.
Oh, good.
That was close to the Jones River, that it was a big concern, so we ran around last week and got a section of 8-inch pipe and a section of 10-inch pipe, so that covers the majority of our pipes. So if something were to happen, at least we have a stick on site and we can reach out to Matthias or a local contractor to do the work, but at least it's not a matter of chasing it during an emergency at this point.
That's really good.
That would
Yeah.
happen in the middle of the.
Benefit-
Well, of course, Christmas usually, yeah, or Thanksgiving. But yeah, we were anticipating something might go on over the weekend. Obviously, once we TV'd it on Monday morning, figured out it wasn't ours, that was a relief, so. So that's kind of what's been keeping us busy the last couple of weeks to couple of days, so.
How's the plant expansion? The punch list can't be that much anymore.
Yeah, they did come in and fix some of the stuff they were waiting for the weather to break on, and they took care of that. There's one item that popped up with these effluent pumps that I'm waiting to hear back from Tom on. There might be a change order involved with some of the parts that are supposed to be fail safes for these new pumps and VFDs. And for some reason, it doesn't look like it was tied into the contract, so it might be something we're covering, but I kind of threw it back at CDM to see, was this missed? Is this something that the contractor just didn't supply? So we'll see where that goes.
Okay.
That when that email comes, I'll send it on to you, but it might be something that they want us to approve this change order for these particular components, and it's around $12,000.
Do we want to entertain making a vote up to, say, 13,000 if needed for this part, so we're not waiting for a board vote for the change order?
That'd probably be a good idea, just to smooth it through, because I think their completion date is mid-June or
Yeah.
something, so it might affect, their final.
Yeah, and we wouldn't be back until beginning of June for another meeting.
Yeah.
What do you think, Brian?
Oh, definitely get in front of it. I mean, it's like what just Dave said about the pipe. You're in front of it. You're anticipating it. It makes life a lot simpler.
Yeah,
It's gonna have to be done at some point, whether it's as a change order or they cover it under their contract, but
and they're there, we might as well get it done. You good with that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Was it a motion from you?
Yeah, do you think 13 will cover?
yeah, the change was 12 and some change, so
Okay.
13.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll
Yep.
second that.
All in
Alright.
favor? Elaine, aye?
Brian, I. Yep.
Bill, I.
Okay. So that way you can just, whatever you think is best.
Perfect.
Just thinking, Dave, real quick on the back to the landing road. The beauty of the blue brood pipe is it can span a pretty good span, and it's not going to crack.
Mm-hmm.
So that's. But when you backfill it, just the one thing I do know is the contractor needs to take that tension out, that downward. If it's underneath it, it's missing by 4 or 5 feet. They got to be sure to basically push it back up, lift it back up, and pack in underneath it. Otherwise, it starts to pull out from if it hasn't already, it pulls out from the O-ring at the other end, the bell.
Yeah, the bell fitting,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's just something a contractor may or may not understand that. I'm sure, you mentioned John, I'm sure he does, but my experience was that if you don't take care of that, it settles after you backfill it if you don't do it right, and it does pull
Sure.
that out, and then you have another problem upstream or downstream of just the joint.
Yep. Yeah, everything looked tight through there, so, I guess they're gonna come out on Thursday this week. The state's gonna have their contractor with a camera, and they're gonna check all the drain lines in the street and see how those are.
It sounds like an old drain line underneath the piping system is gone. Just eroding.
Yeah, and they're gonna be in, I think, mid-June, replacing the water main on the right-hand side as you're going up Main Street towards town. So they're gonna be in that area digging anyway, so they might discover something, even if they didn't find something through Mass Highway.
Yeah,
They might discover something when they're replacing the water main, find an old downspout or something that might have went over. Who knows? The good news, we don't have a problem.
that is
Good
very
thing
good.
Yes.
The good thing, the Elm Street Bridge is now fixed. Is the bypass? I'm thinking.
Oh,
Remember when that bridge was out? I mean, it was a pain in the neck going around town.
yes, I do. And the good thing with that, you discovered it by just putting a camera down it. You didn't have to, that was a.
Yeah, it was kind of nerve wracking not knowing. And then if it is your problem, they said that, as far as being on a state road, you have to apply for permits and stuff. So if it's one of these things that could break any minute, but you have to wait to get your permit, who knows how long that would be.
Mhm.
So, now you're in a situation of hurry up and wait. And what if it blows out? So,
That's how it gets fixed really fast, Dave.
yeah.
Sounds like, we're good. Bill, you have anything?
No. I'm all set.
Okay,
You good? I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A second.
all in favor? Elaine, aye?
Have a good Memorial Day.
All right.
You
too.
too.
Bill, aye.
Thank you, you too.
Bye.